So that's all for this week's lecture. I think the most important advice to get out of this is that first, it's important to consider all the possibilities in the contract, all the paths, all the edge cases, and try them in the simulator. It's important to think like an adversary because not everybody is going to collaborate. Use a static analysis tool, especially the warnings one. Take advantage of explicit refunds and assertions if you can. And use reasonable timeouts, not too large that it feels like the contract is locking funds forever, and also not too short that people may not have a chance to participate on time. These are some suggestions for exercises for practicing what we learned this week. So the first exercise would be to take the purchase or escrow without explicit payments and try to figure out what the explicit payments are to see if you understand what's happening at each moment. And then you can use the refunds on close static analysis to verify that you understood it correctly. Second exercise is to write a contract that has no linting suggestions but can have failed payments. As we know, linting can find some obvious failed payments. So the task is to write a contract which is complicated enough that the linting cannot find any problems, but static analysis can still find a failed payment. And I would suggest checking in the simulator that you can reproduce the failed payment that the static analysis found. The third exercise encourages you to try the assert construct and use it to ensure that your assumptions about how the contract works are true. For example, you can use the available money, like we did in the lecture, to check that the accounts have the money you expect them to have. And finally, try to write a contract that, again, has no linting suggestions, but still has unreachable code. And try to find it by using reachability analysis. Keep in mind that reachability analysis may not find a piece of code that is unreachable unless it's non-trivial. So for example, even if you have a closed construct that is not reachable, it may not find it. You may have to add something which is something different than close. So that's all for this week. Thank you for listening and see you on Tuesday on the Q&A session.